shift gears and talk about how America is shifting, certainly socially speaking. Zach, I want to start with you about this. We want to show a full screen about what's taking place in this country. A big week when it comes to marriage equality, as we've seen with Rhode Island and now with Delaware, saying that they will now recognize same-sex marriage coming up July the 1st. This is a big shift, again, but the governor in Delaware signing this bill into law just yesterday. Rhode Island became the 10th state to allow gay and lesbian couples to wed as well. They're going to go into effect later this summer. But this is a big political shift, and it doesn't seem like it's being recognized in Washington, D.C. when we talk about the larger issue of immigration reform.
Well, it doesn't, and you know, the way these two issues are colliding and the way this is being framed is often sort of Harry Reid and Democrats are threatening to kind of torpedo the immigration reform bill by inserting these provisions protecting gay couples, as if it's some kind of special interest provision that they're just throwing in there. You know, in fact, this is consistent with the national view on this topic, and so there's a push to make sure that gay couples are included in that. So I think it's probably more apposite to think of it as Republicans either finding excuses, frankly, to hop off the train on this for their own reasons, or just not being able to bring along their very extreme base that's not willing to go along with this.
And Chris, when we look down at the state level, Illinois in and of itself was a state that looked like it was going to get marriage equality well before maybe a Rhode Island or well before maybe a Delaware, but there's been a big shakeup with who was the GOP chair who stepped aside because of his support for marriage equality. But you point out what's taking place on the national scene and just wrote a great piece about Senator Leahy and what he's been able to do, and it's being described as a masterstroke of genius when it comes to amendments in the immigration reform bill.
Yeah, Thomas, the original proposal that's been talked about for years would create what's called a permanent partnership to allow same-sex couples who are banned by the Defense of Marriage Act from sponsoring their foreign partner for purposes of a green card, would allow them to create what's called a permanent partnership. What Senator Leahy did and announced in an amendment he filed to the immigration bill yesterday would actually simply recognize those legal marriages that same-sex couples are already in any of the states that allow same-sex marriage or travel to them or other countries, and would recognize those people for purposes of green cards, which is a much more narrow scope and also something that fits with a lot of the federalism arguments that people like Senator Rubio, Senator Portman, and Senator Feinstein have talked about.
It'll be really interesting as we see this moves forward. Leahy offers the amendments in committee where Democrats hold a 10-8 majority. We'll see where it goes. My thanks to all three of you. Cheryl Conti from Jack and Jill Politics, Chris Geidner, senior political and legal reporter for BuzzFeed, and Zachary Roth. Zach is a senior reporter for MSNBC.com. Again, thank you. We are going to continue to bring you that developing story coming to us right there outside of a Cleveland home, which is the Berry household. Amanda Berry expected to speak to reporters any moment now when she comes safely home with her family. We're going to bring you back to Cleveland. As soon as that happens, we'll bring it to you live. And another big event that we're just minutes away from now, expected to start on Capitol Hill. Another one into the deadly attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. Among the witnesses, whistleblowers who allege that the U.S. government failed to act and failed to save lives the day diplomats came under attack. That's also our topic of the day. Question to you: do you believe there was a deliberate attempt to cover up what really happened in Benghazi? Or is this a political witch hunt? You can weigh in on Facebook or Twitter at Thomas A. Roberts.
We found it together on a walk, love to walk.